British voters would be rioting in the streets if there was a second referendum on Brexit, claimed Anne-Marie Trevelyan. Referring to her constituency of Berwick-upon-Tweed, the Brexiteer MP argued a second vote would not go down well. Ms. Marie Trevelyan told BBC's Politics Live, "We have not had time to put the Withdrawal Agreement implementation bill through, for instance. I think that would be a perfectly good reason to provide extension. But I do not think that's naturally where anyone wants to go, unless it is for another 2 years. My constituents would be literally rioting in the streets if we said, don't worry, we are going to do absolutely nothing for another 2 years. That would not go down well. People do not want a second referendum in Berwick-upon-Tweed," Labour MP Clive Lewis interjected. "They do in Norwich." Ms. Marie Trevelyan continued, "We need our negotiators to do the very best they can, come back to us, and then we will assess the situation." Then, Brexit news. Anne-Marie Trevelyan said a second vote would not go down well in her constituency. Image BBC Politics Live. "My constituents would be literally rioting in the streets." Anne-Marie Trevelyan. The comments follow Prime Minister Theresa May being warned by the UK's former ambassador to the EU that Britain is massively unprepared for hugely complex trade talks with the European Union, should her Brexit deal make it through Parliament. Sir Ivan Rogers said talks on trade and security, which could last 5 years, will be much more complex than the Article 50 withdrawal process. He told the Institute of Government, "This is a much bigger task for London, for Whitehall and Westminster, than the negotiation we have just been through. It's going to involve every department of state in depth, from the top of those departments right down through the system." From the EU side, Sir Ivan, who quit as a UK permanent representative in 2017 after clashing with ministers on Brexit, said seasoned negotiators are already in place, but warned the same cannot be said for London. "You've got to have confidence as chief trade negotiator, both at an official and ministerial level, that you have got a highly competent set of people in every area, from aviation to energy to phytosanitary to competition to employment. In every area, you've got to have vetted that team, know it's got the capabilities, know it's got the resources, know it's got the legal framework and the background, and be at least as good as the team on the opposite side of the table. It isn't the case. We are not in that position." Earlier, the Prime Minister's official spokesman said backstop negotiations have reached a crucial stage, with Attorney General Geoffrey Cox heading for Brussels to push for more concessions to make Mrs May's Brexit deal acceptable to rebel Tory MPs. A Downing Street spokesman insisted Mr Cox was continuing to pursue legally binding changes to the backstop, despite reports he had given up on trying to secure a time limit and exit mechanism. He was reported to have shelved efforts to get a time limit or unilateral exit mechanism added to the backstop, with cabinet sources suggested the changes were considered too blunt by EU bosses. But Mrs May's official spokesman confirmed Mr Cox was travelling to Brussels tomorrow, with talks at a critical stage.